Hi, I'm Alyson the Crocheter.
And I'm Vivian the Knitter, and you're listening to Keep Calm and Carry Yarn.
Hello, and welcome to episode 91 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn. This is a knitting and crochet podcast hosted by me and my mom, Vivian. I'm recording from my home here in Edinburgh.
And I'm recording in New Hampshire.
World travelers we are. But thanks for joining us. Actually, I've traveled to my old spot.
Yep. At your bookshelf.
The bookshelf behind me.
Yep.
Yeah. And some boxes over here.
Ooh.
Which actually might be out of frame. So what are you doing in New Hampshire? Which is where you used to.
When we started the podcast, I was in New Hampshire. I am driving Madeline, the youngest, to Maine for school. Mm-hmm. So New Hampshire is also where Jillian lives, which is my third daughter, and it looks like I'm in prison. Like it's all. But no, they just moved in a few months ago, and they haven't really done a whole lot of, decorating or anything.
Oh yeah, the new place. I haven't even seen gotten the tour yet.
There's still boxes and stuff like that because they both work full time, though they haven't really had that much time to do any personal touches or anything in the place.
Yeah.
Yep. So
that's all right.
Yeah, so it's nice. It's it's just enough for the two of them, and everything works out.
Cool.
Yep. But it was a long drive. The long drive.
How long of a drive?
Well, let's see.
Without stops.
Without stops, it would be 8 + 5 + 5, approximately. So that would be 18.
Ooh, yeah, that's a long drive.
18 hours because stopped in Virginia, saw my friends there, and then we stopped in New Jersey, saw my parents there, and then came here. So it's pretty much an 18-hour drive.
8 + 5 + 5
is 18.
You would be in the ocean. Maybe you would be in France? You went.
I have no idea.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
Anyway.
You ready for our Buzzfeed?
Yeah, Buzzfeed. Sorry, noise. Buzzfeed quiz.
Well, this is a silly one. Because it's actually relevant to what's going on in our family and also this podcast. It says, be a wedding planner. Be a wedding planner for a day and will accurately and surprisingly guess your favorite Taylor Swift song. I don't really have a favorite Taylor Swift song, but I'll go with it.
I mean, you could pick a favorite Taylor Swift song if all the Taylor Swift songs were presented to you.
That's true. When a Taylor Swift song comes out on the radio, I'll say, oh, that's Taylor Swift. So I'll recognize it as a Taylor Swift song or her voice, but I don't necessarily know the titles of the song. But I got Lover. And it says, can I go where you go? I don't know what that means. And Madeline's...
I assume that's a lyric?
I have no idea. Madeline, can I go where you go a lyric in the song? She says yes. She just did play a little snippet of it, and I didn't recognize it, so...
Well, I got Willow. I'm begging for you to take my hand, and I think that's from the Folklore album.
Oh, okay.
And I think it might be in my playlist. My Spotify playlist is essentially that I listen to is just all the songs I've liked ever, just in shuffle. And I think Willow's in there. And I think maybe I've talked about the Bardcore songs, right?
No. What is that?
Have I talked about Hildegard von Blingen?
Yeah, I think so.
On this podcast?
No, I don't know about on basically this podcast, but...
well, it's... Bardcore is I don't even know, a subgenre of music where people do covers of modern songs, but make them sound like they're medieval covers.
Oh yeah, you did. And now I remember.
Yeah, Hildegard von Blingen, she does that, but they'll also change some of the lyrics a bit to make it sound a bit more medieval. And I think she might have done one for Willow.
I see.
Or at least one of the Taylor Swift songs from the album.
Okay.
Anyway.
So do you want to go through any of these questions?
Sure. Sorry, I've placed my computer like behind my phone, so I'm gonna get really close so I can scroll through. In case anybody's not listening to just audio. Where are you going, or where do you want to get married? Thailand, Amsterdam, France, the US, Canada, or Spain?
Well, since we're both married already, I just picked where I would like to visit. And it was Amsterdam.
Ah.
I,
Well, interestingly, that was the only city. All the other ones were countries.
oh, yeah. I didn't.
Yeah. Well, I picked France because I just thought like for a wedding that there's probably some sort of villa, chateau, whatever that you could rent out and get married in. That would be nice. Which kind of led me to where I want the ceremony to be held, because the options were in a garden, at the beach, in an event space, a holy place, at the city hall, or in a house. And I picked in a garden because I figured like an outdoor wedding in France would be.
Yeah, I picked that too. I had a hard time with the choose the theme of your wedding.
Oh yeah.
It's like, what the heck? Well, since it's not anywhere where I live, I just picked travel. I don't know what the heck that means. A theme for your wedding is travel? What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't really know. Like a destination wedding. Yeah. But vintage, modern, bohemian, formal, holiday, or travel. I went for holiday, which I feel like I wouldn't normally, like, I don't know.
But that's holiday as
Christmassy
in like Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know.
Year's.
But just because for some reason I'm in a Christmas mood. You know why? But I love Christmas anyway. But I don't know if you put it all together, a Christmas themed wedding in the country of France, like, in the countryside in France, it seems a bit weird. But you can make it work if it was actually around Christmas time. What about the cake?
Well, you skipped the how many people are invited part. So I picked the least amount, 10 to 20 max. So the cake has to go with that. And they had some bigger cake. So I picked the one with the flowers and the rosemary, the dried flowers, rosemary, and what is that? A fig? 2 figs?
Oh, I picked the same one. It's sort of like one of those like naked cakes where there's like icing on it, but the icing has been scraped so you can kind of see the cake through it, which appeals to me as well because I'm not a big frosting fan. Like, I like frosting, but like, especially if it's just like a generic like like it doesn't really taste like that much, like tastes like sugar frosting. I don't need a whole lot of it. Like, it's called cake because it's cake. Like, I want to eat the cake. Especially if it's a good cake. Also, this cake would go well, I feel like, if it was a Christmas theme, because like the figs and like rosemary, that would fit in a Christmas themed wedding, right?
Sure. I just like the look of it. And then we have to do, lastly, choose your wedding gimmick. And it's photo booth, mini bar, dessert station, fireworks, fire dancing, and disco party. I don't know, fire dancing?
I went for...
I don't understand.
You went for fire dancing? Oh. I was like, that surprises me. I went for fireworks. Because I love fireworks.
I picked dessert station because when I came to it, I went, dessert station? And Madeline was right next to me. She's like, no, you have to pick that one. I'm like, fine.
Was it like dessert station, I'm so excited, or dessert station, that's ridiculous?
I'm so excited. I mean, dessert station.
I mean, if I had to guess, that's what I was going to guess for you. And that was like a close second.
That or a photo booth. But everybody does a photo booth these days, I think. I feel like. So I picked the desserts. Okay. That is... Ooh, my favorite song is Lover and yours is Willow. Is that what it was called again?
Which at the moment it might be, but I actually don't know Taylor Swift enough to know for sure if that's the one I'm thinking of. But I think maybe.
Okay. Alrighty. On to our crafty content. What kind of whips do you have?
Pretty much just the dress still. So this is the Jade Dress by, after all of our debating, we've decided her name is Natasha Robarge. No K.
Okay, okay. It was the Interweaves website where I saw the K.
Yeah, but only in one page. Like this is the actual like printout
Of the
pattern
magazine.
from the magazine, and there's no K.
Okay.
So, Natasha Robarge, if you're listening to this, set us straight. Anyway, so it doesn't. So last time I put it on, and you're like, it looks like a bolero, and basically it's the same except it's connected now.
Ooh.
Because I did rip that out a bit to shorten what I'd had, to give myself slightly, I guess, a smaller. So this is, I'm putting it on top of my
T-shirt,
which is a bit bulky. So I think it's okay. I think the armhole size is okay. I actually had gotten a little bit further, and then, oh no, I ripped it out, and then I made the armholes too small. I had a friend here who also knits, and she was like, yeah, the armhole's too small. So I'm like, okay, do a couple more rows, and blah, 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 blah. So it's good. And I feel like the fit actually looks better with this shirt on underneath. And I will have something on underneath on the
like
day.
A cami or something?
Thinner. Like, oh no, it'll have to be a whole, like, slip dress.
Oh.
Because...
Did you buy it yet?
You know, I haven't bought anything yet. And actually the back doesn't look... So, I think it's gonna... When I washed and blocked it, I think it'll condense a little bit. But I just wasn't happy still with the back. Like, there's just too much material. And I know, like, once it's all, like, done, it'll drape and it'll be different. But I'm just not convinced. Because really, I think really, like, you can see, like, the end of what would have been the sleeve. Like, because obviously there's, like, the ruffle sleeve. But, like, what would you call this? The seam? The seam, where the seam would be. It's
where the shoulder,
draping.
The shoulder of the...
Yeah, where the shoulder is. It's too low. It should be up here. So really, I should only have, like, maybe that much. And then there should be the seam here, and then the ruffles should start up there. And it's actually a significant amount of, like, it's like 12, at least 12 stitches. And, you know, I think it could carry on. It would be fine. But I know it's not the way I want it to be.
Are you going to tear it out?
So guess who started over again? This girl. So
wait, you have another... I'm
not ripping this out yet. But I've started
a different piece?
Fresh. Yeah. Because I've got like a million, I mean not a million, but I think I've got like 9 of these linen balls of yarn. So I've started again from the beginning. I'm not very far. Basically, I've got these little epaulets.
Okay.
For the shoulders. But they're a lot shorter. So
you've gone backwards.
So I've gone backwards. So yeah, I've got the start of 2 dresses. So I'm gonna basically carry on.
You have less than 5 months.
Until... Shut up. This is fine. This is fine. I feel like, yeah, I've got less than 5 months. If it were somebody else who crochets faster, they would be fine. But I think it'll be okay. So I'm gonna carry this on, this new start, until it's the same size as what I've got. And then compare, and then choose which one to go forward
You're
with.
giving me a lot of anxiety right now. Do you have a backup dress?
A backup dress? No. No, I don't, but I'm sure I could buy a backup dress, right? Like, stop it.
Okay,
actually. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Okay.
It'll be
okay.
Fine. So I've got a pair of linen trousers from a Etsy shop called Not Perfect Linen.
I remember.
Yep, and they do lots of other things, and they do like a sort of shift style dress that's got like a V-neck, which I think I could wear underneath. And they have this color, so I've got this pack of swatches that they send with your purchase, so you can see all the different colors they have. And they've got this color called Redwood, which I think would be really nice to go under.
mm, mm. Um,
What do you?
it would have to be really fitted, right?
I don't think so because the dress, like, it's fitted at the top, but then at the bottom it just kind of flares out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you mean fitted at the
Yes.
top? I mean, now you're giving me anxiety. Well, I don't know. I think a colored underneath, because I was thinking I'll just get like a nude slip,
Mm-hmm.
might be better, but because there's so many, like, because it's lacy and it'll like
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say.
it will be close to your chest, to my boobs,
Uh-huh.
so you'll be able to like
See,
see the fabric
yeah.
underneath quite a lot, but it won't be like in the skirt. So I feel like if it's nude colored, you'll see that nude color quite a lot
Uh-huh.
in the top, and then it'll be in shadow in the skirt. So your boobs will almost be like highlighted by the fact that
There's
it's
more
like there's
holes
a light
there.
color
Yeah.
underneath.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point.
So I think having a color that's close to the fabric
Mm-hmm.
or a darker color maybe makes more sense. So that's where I'm at. Do you have any whips?
I do. I have 2 whips right now. I am still working on the Sprite Sven shawl for,
Mm-hmm.
the other wedding project. So this will be, it's a
You only
semicircle.
have 5 months.
According to
Yeah.
the pattern, I think I'm at 20% done. Or one more row and it'll be 20%. So
Oh, it looks really nice. Like, I think the pattern sample is in a color, yeah?
there's 2. There's one that's because she has the lace version or the fingering version. I'm doing the fingering version. I think the lace version is in a creamy or like a silvery white color, and then the fingering one actually has stripes, so she striped it in different places.
Oh.
It is very pretty, but it's
Yeah.
kind of it's good TV knitting because it's a little kind of boring to work on. It's not like super like exciting to work on
Complicated?
because there's a lot of garter.
So, yeah. How would you just, so it's got like stripes of different.
So it's got garter stripes, and then it's got some lacy bits that's not really too lacy.
Overly lacy.
It's not overly lacy. It's just yarn over,
it's like
yarn over
a ripple.
Yes, it's just yarn over, knit together, yarn over, knit together, and then in a couple rows later, you actually do the lace bit, which is just there's some decreases and increases. So,
but it does look really nice in that sort of like warm white. Like, I could almost imagine, like, the way you're holding it up, like, I could imagine that being the top of a wedding dress. Like,
yeah. So, I mean, it is coming along really nicely. I do have a mistake here, but I'm just leaving it there because nobody can tell but me. And maybe, the designer, who is Helen Stewart. But yeah, I'm happy with it. It's just not the most exciting thing to work on.
yeah.
I mean, I said it's TV knitting, but it's not quite TV knitting because you have to keep track of your rows. So it's not as mindless.
Pay attention.
Yeah, you do have to pay attention a little bit. So I wouldn't work on this during a knitting group. But you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm super happy with this. So that's one whip. And my second whip, which is TV knitting because it is very mindless. Gotta flip it right side out. Is my Spector sweater. And I'm gonna stand up. Oh. So I'm on the 3rd color. You can barely tell at the very bottom. There's just a few rows of the 3rd color.
Yeah.
So this is a yoked sweater, fingering, with a little bit of lace, not lace, like skinny cables up top.
Yeah.
And the body.
So yeah, I can kind of see, because like obviously it's the faded, but your first 2 fades are like really similar.
You can
like,
barely tell. I mean, when I'm looking down on it from here, I can tell, but I'm looking at it straight on.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell that like that middle section is darker, like a little bit. I mean, from sorry, that's a fire truck going by. It almost looks darker and brighter.
Mhm.
That second
Yeah.
color, yeah,
And
a brighter
the
like
third
blue.
color just has a bit more pink. I mean, there is a little bit of purple and pink up in the first two colors, but the third color definitely has more pink and purple mixed in. So this
Yeah.
is the third color,
Oh yeah,
and then this
I can
is
see that like purples,
the second color. I mean, they all have the same colors, and it's just a different
different
ratios
ratios.
of the color. So it's looking really nice. So I'm excited to get more of the third color in. Yep, and I just dropped a few stitches, but that's okay. I'll fix it later. And those are my only two whips that's worthy of being mentioned.
Yeah. But I know that you have an FO that's definitely worthy of being mentioned.
Yes, I do. So
And speaking of Taylor Swift.
Speaking of Taylor Swift, here's this Taylor Swift Folklore Cardigan. I finished it, and I'm super happy with it.
Oh, you look so collegiate.
Here's the back.
Wow.
Can you see the back? I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all blocked, sewn together, blocked, and last time I was just working on the button band. So that's all done, and then after I finished the button band, I blocked the whole thing again because Madeline wanted this space to be even a little bit bigger. So, because you remember just the armhole. I had sewn the whole thing together, but she wanted the armholes bigger, so I ended up taking the sleeves out, but I left the seams up here on the shoulders, and I just reblocked the sleeves. Yeah, and make the armholes a little bit bigger.
It looks so good.
So yeah, it looks good. And we actually did I mention it last time? We saw one in the wild.
No, I don't know.
We saw an actual Taylor Swift sweater in the wild, and I was like looking and looking and looking at the back because the little girl's back was facing us, like on this side of the restaurant. I'm looking, and this pattern is really it's spot on the patterning of everything. So, yep. And I even made
oh my goodness, a matching one for Madeline's bear.
Yeah.
But he's got a sweater.
He's got a pullover. Yeah, I wasn't gonna mess. I mean, because I didn't. There was no pattern. I just threw it together. And yeah, so he's gonna be the best dressed bear in college.
Oh my god. I also love that, like, not only like Madeline's brought her bear to college, but now he's got a matching sweater.
Well, he did have a sweater before, and it was one of those acrylic sweaters that you buy at Michael's because they have doll sweaters and stuff, doll clothes, and we bought it, and it was like, I think it belonged to one of you guys. It wasn't. I didn't buy it for her, and so it was in a box of doll clothes, and she just put it on him, and it was looking really ratty. So I promised her I'll make him a new sweater, and like years ago, I never got around to doing it. So when I finished this, it's like, no, can I get a matching sweater for a bear? Like, sure. So when we drove up through Virginia, I stayed with a friend. I stayed with Joe, my friend, for a couple nights. And the last day we were there, we went to knitting group, and we showed off the sweater. And so all the old ladies, of course, they love the sweater because I did a fabulous job on it. I mean, what's not to love? But I think I started a trend because, like, at least 3 of them now, like, it's in their queue. One of them have actually already bought the pattern and bought the yarn. She's ready to go. And I think they want to do a knit along. So Madeline was laughing. It's like, oh, all these little old biddies are going to be wearing their Taylor Swift sweaters around town. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
super happy with it, and this will be the last time I see it for a while because it's going to Madeline's suitcase, and she's going off to college.
Very good.
Yep. So that's all the crafty content I have. I've been on the road for a few days now for the 18-hour trek so far. We still have another hour and a half to go up to Maine.
One last push.
One last bit, yeah. But thankfully, I don't have to drive back down to Tennessee. I'm just flying. So more knitting time for me. Because I was not a passenger at all. I drove the whole entire time.
Oh.
Yeah. No car knitting.
Well, I don't have a project FO, but as I hinted to before, I've got boxes in the house. And this is a rather conservative stack of 11 boxes of magazines. So, got a delivery of I will just say many hundreds of magazines. 2 pallets, stacked, wrapped, home all by myself. Sam's flying, working, so I had to bring all these boxes inside one at a time. There's only there's 22 magazines per box, but that's each magazine's about half a kilo, so I think a little less. I think it's about 10 kilos, 22 pounds per box. And because I'm just a weedy little girl, I could only do one box at a time. So I brought in from the sidewalk into the stairwell, into the shared stairwell, all the boxes. And then it was off the street, and then dragged the pallets inside, and then began the slog of bringing them upstairs. And I only live on the first floor, which in the UK is, it would be called the first floor, but I'm actually on the second.
But you're almost 2 stories up because the first floor is really high. So,
because our ceilings are high. But yeah, I brought that first box up the stairs, and it wasn't too bad. Just getting them from the sidewalk into the door, into the hallway. Bringing it up the stairs, I'm like, oh my god, this is way harder. This just it's 10 times more work. Dragging one single box up one flight of stairs into my flat. And it's just I could just feel it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna feel it in my back. And today, my back is sore, my arms are sore, my legs are sore. But we've got magazines, and I use the box cutter to take off the plastic, and I was bringing boxes in, and finally I was like, oh my god, I have to open one of these boxes and look at it. I haven't even looked at it yet. Which I did do, finally. But I don't even have it with it. Hold on, 2 seconds. My FO is finally having a physical copy of this magazine.
Yay!
So, yeah, it is a real thing in real life. It has pages. It has lovely photographs. It smells like paper. It's a magazine, and I made it.
I'm so proud of you. It's so cool.
It's weird. It's weird. I'm. Everyone's like, "Oh, are you so excited?" I'm like, I am excited, but I still just have so much work to do. Seeing all those magazines come in, it's like, oh yeah, now I gotta send them all out. Not all of them, but it's oh gosh,
you're gonna be really busy.
Really busy.
So, are you gonna send them all out at once, or do you not send them out until the actual release date?
No, they're gonna go out in waves, because I've got some wholesale customers internationally, wholesale customers in the UK, internet so I'll try to plan it so that pre-orders, that you'll receive your pre-orders slightly before the 28th or by the 28th, which means that international orders will have to go out before UK orders, because obviously UK orders will take less time to get there. And then wholesale orders will go slightly before that again, so that shops have it definitely in time to stock it by the on sale date. But yeah, and then the other thing I need these magazines for is the fact that I'm going to a couple yarn shows, which I don't know if I've announced on the podcast yet. So I'm going to Yarndale at the end of September, so 25th and 26th. So that's in Skipton. I've never been to Yarndale. I've always wanted to go. I know it's like a very like crochet has a lot of representation at Yarndale. So I'm really excited to finally be able to go. But I'll be going there like as a seller, which is like crazy. And that's technically the weekend before the on sale date. So the on sale date will be the 28th, which is a Tuesday. And so I'll be at Yarndale the weekend before, but you will be able to buy physical copies there as a sort of special Yarndale thing. And I'll also have some other products like tote bags and project bags and pins and stickers and things. But I'll also, before that even, 2 weeks before that, be at Sweater Weather, which is a new yarn festival being held at the Farnham Maltings, which is in Farnham. And they also do the Unravel show, which is normally at the beginning of the year. But Sweater Weather is sort of a new show that they're going to do in September to kind of like, sweater weather and autumnal and cozy knits. And I think they're wanting it to be a sort of very welcoming show for all like levels of knitters and crocheters and crafters, because I think yarn shows can be quite intimidating for beginners, because it's like, it's all these people with all their like, fancy best made knits, and they know exactly what they want, and they're super like in the know about indie yarn dyers, and if you're like new to that world, that can be a bit intimidating. So I think Sweater Weather, the idea is like to kind of help encourage sort of more newcomers to the crafting world into yarn shows. So I'm going to be there, but somebody else is going to be there.
I'm going to be there. Yep, ostensibly to help you out with the vending.
You will be a help.
Super. I'll be a warm body. I can at the very least, man the table while you have to go to the bathroom or, whatever. And you're going to be doing a talk, so I'm sure I'll be manning the table when you're doing your talk. So somebody's going to have to record it so I can watch the talk later.
But yeah, so the both of us will be at Sweater Weather, so if anyone's going to be at Sweater Weather, say hi to both of us.
Yes, please. That'll be exciting. I'm super excited.
Wherever it'll be exciting. I'm excited, and yeah, like my mom said, I'm going to be doing a talk at both shows actually, about the sort of my journey and how the idea turned into an actual physical thing. So yeah, have a look for that. I think they're both talks at both shows are, I think, free with like admission ticket. And at least definitely Sweater Weather, I think it's part of the sort of virtual ticket as well.
So cool. Yeah. This is real. You actually have the magazine in hand. It's not like virtual anymore. It's not just digital pages.
In hand, in the flat. Like, so we've got like a stack here in the living room. We've got some stacks in the entryway. We've got some stacks next to the bathroom. We've got some stacks in my bedroom. We've got a wall in the second bedroom, which is going to have guests staying there tomorrow. So they're just going to be surrounded by not only boxes of magazines, but like packaging material on the other side. And it smells like I don't know if it's the magazines, the paper smell, or the boxes.
Probably the boxes.
I think it's a combination. Yeah. The boxes, it makes me smell like it makes me think of Home Depot or like Lowe's. It smells like a hardware store.
Yeah, it's the boxes, because whenever we move and they bring stacks and stacks and stacks of the flattened boxes, the cardboard boxes, it's got that. It's almost like sometimes it's like an oily smell too. It's just got that box smell.
I guess that makes sense. It's that is it the smell of trees? Like
dead
processed
trees.
Tree. It smells like dead tree.
The smell of dead trees.
I mean, that's the thing that has in common: wood and cardboard.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's that.
Very exciting. So you're gonna be super busy. I'm gonna be super busy just with between the traveling and the moving. The moving has been. I'm not going to talk about it here, but anyway, we'll be in Tennessee a little longer than anticipated. So, but once we do I'll probably be moving around the same time, your second show.
Mhm.
So, I think that's all we have. Unless you have more. I
Nope.
don't have any more.
I'll do the spiel.
Yes, go ahead, spiel away.
Okay. So you can find the show notes for this episode and every episode on our website, which is kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. You can follow us on Instagram, also at kcacypodcast, or my personal Instagram is Alyson here, and my mom's is upstate_viv. Make sure to subscribe and like and comment and review and favorite and thumbs up and whatever on YouTube, iTunes, wherever else you find your podcasts. And you can also join the Ravelry group if you feel like it. Just search for Keep Calm and Carry On in the groups tab on Ravelry. So thank you for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry yarn. Bye!
Bye!